On the back of each report, you will see a table that looks like this. This is our expected progress map, and it shows the journey of students as they move through the academy from year 7 to year 11. On the expected progress map, you will see you only need to look at the year group that your child is currently in. So if your child is in year 7, you just need to look at the row that deals with year 7. If your child is in year 8, you only need to look at this row which deals with year 8. When the students come into the academy, we rank order all of the Key Stage 2 results, and we put the students into a band. In year 7, in all years, there are 5 bands, or as we call them, flight paths. If your child is very high performing and they got a scaled score of between 113 and 120, or a level of between a 5B and a 6, they would go into flight path 5, the very top flight path, and they would have an end of year target that would be a 3.1. If we compare to our report, I can see here that this child in drama has been given a target of a 3.1. That means in drama, this child is excelling at drama and is a top performing drama student, and therefore has the top performing end of year target. I'll move back to this table now. If a child has a scaled score of between 0 and 90, and we had 6 children with a score of between 0 and 90 this year, they will be in the bottom flight path, the flight path 1, and their target for the end of the year, by the time they get to module 7, would be a 1.3. Our student here is not in the bottom flight path, but they do have some targets as a 1.4. For example, in English, this student has a target of a 1.4 in English. They're in the second flight path for English currently. They have a target of 1.4. Now, when a student takes a Module 1 test, we rank order that test, or rank order all of the students who took that test, and again we put them into quintiles. We put them into bands. If your child remained in the same flight path that they came in on at Key Stage 2, their colour would be green, and they would be considered to be on track. They've remained in the same position in the year group. If they did better and they went up a band, then they would go blue. We can see here this student was doing English, and they clearly were attaining higher than their target grade, and they are blue. And in fact, they remained blue across the year. And that means that this child's target in year 8 will go up. They are performing well above what we might expect them to be performing at. If a child performs well below where we would expect them to be, according to their position amongst the whole cohort, then they would turn red. If they were 2 flight paths below, they would turn red. And this happened for our student here in art. In art, in the first module, they were red. They should have been getting a... Let me just have a look. They should have been getting a 1.3, and actually they got a 1.1. This is 2 flight paths below where they should have been, and therefore they've turned red. Fortunately, they've turned that around, and after each module they have improved their result, and they've performed well above where we would have expected them to be when they came in. In DT, this student had a target of a 2.2, which meant that they were average at DT. And across the year, they remained average, which is why their colour remains green all the way across. So they were where we would have expected them to be. If a student gets orange, that simply means that the student is performing one flight path below where they came in at Key Stage 2. So really, the most important thing about this results is not the number. The number is not really hugely important here. What is very important is the colour. The colour tells you whether your child is performing at the level we would expect or if they're overperforming. So those are the real important things to discuss with your child.